So hey guys, this is part 2 of our Q&A. You guys asked for it, so why the hell not? We'll give you it. So we may not get around to each and every answer that question that you guys left us. I'm sorry, like there's only so much time we can devote to this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's already been like an hour and a half.
yeah. So here we go.
So Tina Jeanette, I think is pronounced, asked us, are either of you fans of the DC or Marvel Universe? Is there a character, movie, or show you've been fans of? For example, Avengers, Flash, Arrow, X-Men. Thanks. Really enjoyed your reviews. I'm a pretty big fan of the Marvel Universe. I mean, I've been reading I got in the comics.
You're a big comic book fan in general. Like, you have your regular weekly pulls and stuff like that.
I've been slowing down a bit recently, but yeah, I do. I've been a big fan of the Marvel Universe for a really long time. I like the movies a lot. I really like the Netflix shows. Daredevil and Jessica Jones were really good, I thought. I even enjoyed them.
Jessica Jones.
It's good. I actually even enjoy them more than the movies at this point, I would say. I am really excited for Civil War. But...
I mean, come on. Of course it's better than the movie.
Well, I mean, the
movie sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the movie cinematic universe right now in general.
Oh, right, okay. The TV world is better than... You think so?
I'm liking it more. I kind of like the serialization of it, because that's how comic books usually were anyway.
That's true,
you know, not having to wait so long.
I guess they don't have the same production value. That's the trade-off.
Yeah. And it's a bit darker, and I know, like, it's not like the gritty, dark sort of like Batman, or like really like, not that I'm making fun of Batman, but it's not like dark for the sake of being dark. It's actually just dark material. Like Daredevil's in a really shitty neighborhood, and people are getting like beat to death and stuff. Like, that's dark subject matter.
And
but
Gotham
that's just
is Gotham, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like you know, you see them say Iron Man 1, where he flies down and just shoots everybody once, and they just fall over dead. It's like that's still kind of dark, but it doesn't really seem as like gritty. But
no, it's
like,
very lighthearted.
Yeah, it's more like realistic in that sense.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty lighthearted, isn't it?
Yeah, because that one isn't on Netflix. So Netflix gets away with a lot of stuff without censorship.
Oh, okay.
And the others, like the other channels, that part of the cinematic universe actually has censorship. So.
Yeah. Me personally, when I was a kid, I was really into comic books, but to be honest, aside from the occasional thing here and there, I've kind of moved past them. I still do buy certain things. I'm a big fan of the Dark Horse Conan series. I love Heavy Metal, the magazine, or Metal Hurlant, whatever you want to call it. And like, yeah, but like, I wouldn't say I'm really a comic book fan. Not that I don't appreciate and enjoy that. I just like, there's only so much time in the day for me to like have to play this video game, and I have to watch this movie, and I have to read this novel, and read this textbook and stuff like that. And so just comic books just kind of got lost in the wayside. Yeah. Which I'm not really happy about, but it is what it is, and I don't miss it so much that I feel a pressing need to get back into it.
I took a graphic novel class at U of T a couple times.
Graphic novels I'm more down with because they're one read, right? Like Persepolis or Watchmen. Like I love those because it's like it's one narrative.
Well, see, there are some that are like that are made for the comic book characters. Like there's some Batman ones that are really good. Like The Long Halloween is a great graphic novel, and it's like one whole series, but then it's done. Like it's not,
or like The Dark Knight Returns. It's like it's amazing, right? And you can just sit down and watch it in one go, and it's like that's it. Yeah. So I guess that's the fact that they never end. It's like you have to like this is for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
So that's the same reason why I don't watch a lot of TV shows. It's because like I've never seen an episode of Breaking Bad. Why? Because everyone says it's the best TV show ever made. And I know that if I watch one, then I'm going to have to watch them all.
It's all on Netflix. I did that.
I don't have time for that.
Well, yeah. It's at least that one ends, though. It's not like...
Yeah, there's an end. Like, at a certain point, I'll get around to it.
I was going to start watching X-Files again on Netflix, but that's like 10 seasons. That's way longer than fucking Breaking Bad.
Well, I've seen all those from when they were coming out. But, I kind of gave up on TV. Other than, like, sitcoms... Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
yeah,
like I can just throw that on anytime and just watch one episode and be like, I'm not gonna watch it again for another 2 weeks.
Rick and Morty's good too.
Or Rick and Morty, like any of those things. Yeah.
Right? So to get back to this question though, I'd say me personally, I'm definitely more of a fan of the Marvel Universe than the DC one. The DC one, I'm not necessarily not a fan. I just haven't been a huge fan of the movies that much, and I used to read Batman a lot, but he's kind of the only one that I really paid attention to. And the show is actually. I watched a bit of The Flash, and I liked it. I watched a bit of Arrow. I liked it. I kind of just didn't keep up with it for the same reason that you say. There's just too much.
The Flash is pretty good, like from what I've seen, and Daredevil's fantastic.
Well, yeah, that's the Marvel one.
I thought Daredevil was DC.
No, it's Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
the DC ones I do like, but like Michael was saying, it's kind of like there's just so much, and it's hard to keep up with all of the DC shows. There's a new one now out too. I forget what it's called. Heroes of something, and it's got Captain Cold in it and Atom and stuff. I don't know. It's too much to keep up with all of them. But
Guardians of Tomorrow, is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's Guardians of Tomorrow.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
I think that's close. For me, with in terms of DC versus Marvel, I've bought way more Marvel because like I own like probably 200 issues of Spider-Man from like when I was a kid. And if I wasn't buying Spider-Man, it would be X-Men or maybe there was a lot of spin-offs from that whole kind of like Venom had his own comic at one point. And Carnage did too. I have a couple issues of Carnage. But to be honest, my favorite superhero of all time is Superman. But I didn't really buy a lot of Superman comics. But the idea of Superman is like, for one reason or another, is really appealing to me. And I grew up watching the Christopher Reeves Superman movies. That to me is like, that's the definition of a superhero. And so for me, like I always say, if you could have any superpower, I'd have the ability to fly.
Yeah.
Right? So, but anyway, yeah, so I'd say, and I think also one thing that I really like about DC, this is the difference in my mind between DC and Marvel, is that in Marvel, the way they explain why people have superpowers is that everyone's a mutant.
Well, not everyone.
Peter Parker gets bitten by a radioactive spider, so it kind of mutates his DNA.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner gets exposed to gamma rays, so it kind of mutates him into a Hulk. X-Men, they're all mutants. Fantastic Four, they get put into this other dimension where they get like kind of mutated. And whereas DC, they're all aliens. So like the Green Lantern and...
Well, he gets a ring, but
it comes from space, right?
Yeah.
Or Superman or stuff like that. And I kind of, or like Martian Manhunter and Brainiac and stuff like that, Doomsday. And I kind of like the science fiction fan of me kind of likes that. I don't buy either comics.
Yeah,
so,
well, I gotta point out there, recently in Marvel, it's been way more science fiction than DC ever has, in my opinion, with this...
Well, I mean, it goes through ups and downs.
Well, yeah, but this one, recently, the Avengers run by Hickman has been crazy sci-fi and has been really cool. Like, the whole thing is pretty much science fiction. And there's less sort of, like, magic, kind of. Like, there is a bit, but, like, in the DC, there's always, like, the Speed Force and, like, this sort of just, like, magic force that comes out of nowhere. And in Marvel, it was a bit more scientific, I thought. Well, not, but, like, more science fiction.
Yeah.
I really like the new, like, Avengers run by Hickman and then leading into Secret Wars, and now that's finished. So I was really glad to have read through that. I really like that series a lot.
Fair enough. So, yeah, I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to modern
well,
stuff. I'm just,
that's just recently.
Historically...
It was more sci-fi before.
Yeah, like, I mean, Wonder Woman is from another planet and stuff like that, right?
No, she's from Earth.
Oh, she's an Amazonian that has survived throughout the year. I never really read Wonder Woman, but anyway, yeah. So I read more Marvel, but I appreciate DC a little bit more for being creative and kind of a little out there.
Yeah, I always preferred Marvel, and I think even still I do.
I think Marvel has better writing. I think DC has better ideas.
Yeah. I mean, they all steal from each other anyways, both of them, and they know that. They like make jokes about it. Like, obviously Deadpool was a clear ripoff of Deathstroke, but it was like an in-joke essentially. Yeah. And they had like writers and artists going back and forth between both. So I don't really think there's like, to me, there's like that much of a war. I wouldn't really choose either one, but if I did,
I mean, the creative teams change so much. It's like one writer might go back to DC, and then his contract might run up, and then he goes back to Marvel, and it's like,
All right, so that was a long one. Next. All right, so the next question is from Art Sensitive, and they ask, what if Rey is related to Obi-Wan by cousin or niece? Obi-Wan's parents are so mysterious.
Yeah, we don't really know anything about Obi-Wan Kenobi's family, do we?
No, not at all. I don't think we've... Well, I always felt like the Jedi kind of just got inducted when they're kids.
Yeah,
almost like
really sketchy.
Yeah. maybe it's kind of like Harry Potter, where if like Muggles had like a wizard kid, they'd have to come take the kid away, essentially. Be like, well, we're going to Hogwarts now to learn because you're a Muggle, you can't deal with the wizard, you can't know about that. I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely possible that Rey is, related to Obi-Wan somehow, like is, I don't know, a niece of his or something. I don't know. Maybe not directly his daughter, but also possible that she is his daughter.
Well, actually, Danny thought that she would be related to him because, like, the scene where she's being interrogated, the first thing she does is the mind trick.
Which only Obi-Wan knew,
And
right?
the first time we ever see a Jedi power on display is the mind trick. So, and that's the first time we see the Force being used by a good guy.
Yeah.
And so her idea was that maybe she could be related to it. I don't really think so, but...
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be completely shocked if she was, because even in the flashback, you hear Obi-Wan say, Rey, these are your first steps, right?
Yeah.
And maybe, like...
He actually addresses her personally.
Yeah. And if she was related to, like, Luke or something, it might have been Anakin who said that to her as, like, the sort of Force... Because it was Anakin's lightsaber in the first place, too, right?
Yeah.
So it seems weird that it was Obi-Wan talking to her if it's not... She's not related to him.
Yeah, he addresses her by name, so...
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but maybe.
I think it's in the high...
It's not...
High in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's within the top 5 things.
Possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Or, maybe she's Anakin gone back in time. Or forward in time? I don't know. Reincarnated? That's one
What
of them.
was that comment? Someone asked, is Luke Rey's daughter? Or is Rey's... What was it?
Yeah, it's Luke Rey's daughter. That was funny.
So he went back in time, got a sex change, and pregnant. What's the plot of that movie that we saw?
Oh, what was it called? I forget.
The one where he gets himself pregnant?
Yeah. It's a weird movie.
It's a really good... Oh, I just spoiled it for all of you. So, never mind. Let's not name it.
It would take us 10 minutes to discuss the plot.
Once you see it, you'll know. It's really good.
All right. So here's one from Cam Carroll. Where would you guys like to see your channel by the end of the year? What's been your favorite part of having your channel making videos?
Well, that's a two-parter.
Yeah.
Where would we like to see our channel by the end of the year? We never really discuss where things are going. We're just kind of just writing it out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys, like, in this video, you could leave us some comments about certain things that you would really like to see from us, then maybe we'll have a better idea for certain things that we can do to grow.
We do listen to suggestions. I know some people have commented that we should do, like, a Let's Play, which we have actually filmed a year ago.
Yeah, we gotta get that up soon.
That's all on you. You haven't given me the footage, otherwise I'd put it together.
Okay, we'll do that. We definitely want to do a Let's Play of the Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, which the trailer was amazing.
Yeah,
it was so funny and it was really good. So I kind of really want to do that one. Also, these Star Wars news videos have become way more saturated, obviously, in the last few months.
When we started, we essentially had no competition. We were the only people doing this, and now there's a whole bunch more. So,
yeah,
I guess that's going to force us to get a little bit more creative in terms of the type of videos we do.
We've got a promotional video about basketball. I don't know. That one's going to have to come out.
Hanging hoops?
Yeah, hanging hoops.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Work in progress.
And
what was the other part? What's been your favorite part of having your channel making videos?
Talking to you guys.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why we're still here. If no one paid attention to us, we'd just be like, well, that was fun for 6 months.
Yeah.
Let's go do something else. It's only because you guys view and like and comment, and even if you're calling me a fag, at least you're engaged, right? So, like, yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's why I keep coming back, and I think that's why you keep coming back.
Yeah, I also just like hanging out with Mike and forcing us to hang out and do something together.
It's a good excuse to get together every week and just do something. And I mean, like, we're both creative people, so I think it's, in that sense, it's a good outlet where we feel like we need to do something creative.
Yeah. All right, so this one is from Ben Holden. He said, "Hey guys, do either of you collect Star Wars merchandise and toys? If so, would you consider doing a collection video? Also, are either of you into big fictional universes like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, or superheroes, etc.? Thanks for the great work, and keep up having a fantastic channel." So we answered the superhero one recently in a long discussion about Marvel vs. DC.
Let's not get back into that. Yeah, so yes, we are into other stuff. Well, I don't know, do you want to talk about, like, what's your favorite other
fandom or something.
Fandom stuff, whether it's Lord of the Rings.
Well, let's start off with these toys. Collectibles or whatever. I don't really collect too much Star Wars merchandise. Like, I mean, these are my VHSs, but even these action figures aren't really mine. I don't really collect too much of the Star Wars stuff. I don't really collect too much of any action figures at all, really. Mm-hmm. That's just like, I don't know. I never really got into that too much. They take a lot of space for me. Not that I don't like, seeing them. Every time I go to Comic-Con or something, we check out like the Star Wars stuff. But yeah. I'm more into, I guess, collecting, graphic novels and things as a collectible sort of piece in comic books than that. And I have some of the Star Wars new comic books out. Yeah. But that's all. I'm not really too much into the Star Wars collectibles.
Me personally, when I was a teenager, I was. But I'll pick up the occasional knick-knack here and there, but like, I know like there's some people who are like toy collectors and they have like a huge collection. Mm-hmm. I'm not really into that. I am a collector type of person. Like, I collect a lot of movies and like retro video games and stuff like whatever. I'll collect it, right? But toys is the one thing that I gave up just because. Like, there's a couple things I've held on to, but like a lot of it's just kind of useless and just kind of sits there. It's nice to have stuff to put on your shelf or your table, but at a certain point, you can only display so much. So what's the point of spending all your money on all this stuff, right? So I stopped. So yeah, when I was younger, I was really into collecting Star Wars figures, and also I was really into the McFarlane figures. They had, especially really cool. The Movie Maniac series was really big when I was younger. And like, so I'll have the occasional thing here and there, but in general, I can't really justify.
He's got a Darth Vader mask though, so that's something that he has. It's collectible. I think most of my collectibles that I have, like, that are sort of more toy aspects, are just like the just sort of, I don't know, one-off ones. I've got one of the Swordfish 2 from Cowboy Bebop. I've got a little Majora's Mask that I 3D printed and painted myself. I've got a few amiibos because I play Smash sometimes. And I like.
You've got more than a few over
there. Well, those aren't all mine. Those are Will and Kyle's.
There's at least 30 amiibos right there.
I own 6. I don't know that many. Okay, there's definitely more than 30 though, I think. But yeah, I don't really collect those kind of things too much, but I have a few odd ones. But yeah, mostly just some retro video games. I've got a Super Nintendo, NES, and I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, back to the other question about what are other fandoms. I like so they asked sort of as 2 examples, like, if you like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. I read all the Harry Potter books.
I think they're just using those as examples.
I did like Harry Potter. I read all the books and I watched the movies. I didn't really read the Lord of the Rings books too much. I just read The Hobbit, but I really liked the movies a lot. I didn't like the Hobbit movies, though.
I didn't even see the last 2.
What about you, Mike?
Well, you know me. I'm into, like, every older franchise, I guess. I'm more of an old school guy. Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. I don't actually like the Lord of the Rings books. I know this is going to be a controversial opinion to have. I've read them all. I feel like Tolkien was a brilliant writer in the sense that, like, sometimes I'll grab a copy of whatever, whether it's the Two Towers or whatever, and I'll just for shits and giggles, I'll just read a couple pages just because his use of language is so, like, beautiful. It's like poetry.
Yeah, it's like poetry.
But I think as a narrative storyteller, he stinks. He's terrible. They're the most boring books I've ever read, so I don't actually enjoy his work just in terms of the process. But in terms of whether, like, I know people are probably already leaving negative comments. That's just my opinion. If you like him, most people think he's a genius, and he is. In terms of other franchises, I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan. Well, this is the funny thing, actually, because when my parents met, my mom is a Trekkie. This is in the 1970s, before it's cool, right? So think about if you're a Trekkie in 1975, you got, like, picked on, right? Yeah. So my mom was a Trekkie. My dad was a Tolkien fan. At the time, he was reading the Silmarillion. Yeah. Right, which apparently is not very good, so I've told. He really likes it, though. So that's when my parents first met, and one of their first dates was Star Wars. And you think a Trekkie meets Lord of the Rings, like, that's Star Wars. It's like sci-fi meets fantasy. they both hated it. I think they walked out, actually. And then there was always this big joke that their son is like the biggest Star Wars nerd, and they both like
disliked it.
But now they have to watch it all the time because I'm always playing it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
For me, other sort of ones that I kind of like. Well, at least for Lord of the Rings, I didn't read it too much, but I read the Shannara series a lot. I didn't end up finishing
I like Shannara is really good.
And you know what? Actually, recently they just made a television series about it.
For legal reasons, though.
Well, they were going to lose the rights.
Because it was going to expire if they didn't make a pilot.
And also because of Game of Thrones, it was getting popular, the show one series. So it's called the Shannara Chronicles. I watched the first episode, and it starts out with Elfstones, which was my favorite book, actually. So it's really cool to see that come up.
You know what I really liked from Terry Brooks is the Night of the Word series. I think you've read that, too.
No, I haven't read it all. I haven't read that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought I saw it on your shelf.
I own one of the books, though.
Oh, okay. It's really good. You should. It's my favorite series from him.
It's actually all connected, too, in the same universe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
So the Shannara series kind of had this, especially in the first few books, this sort of like hint that's like this is far in the future of something, and then in the next sort of like series,
because Night of the Word is set like in modern times.
Yeah, and later on, and then you kind of find out that like there are these fairies that started off the magical creature. They put magic into the world, and that during our time right now, it's still part of this like this world. But all the other races are died out, and then the humans create a nuclear holocaust or something at some point, and the fairies come back and like reintroduce the different races in the world.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea about that.
So the thing is, in the Shannara series, they do a very like every book they kind of just like hint at it a little bit more. We never really get like a huge sort of like understanding of it till way later in the series.
Well, I don't think it was planned, right?
Yeah, I think. Because Magic Kingdom for Sale Sold was his first one that was set in today's thing. It kind of still had some magic in today's world.
Right.
But in the Shannara Chronicles series right now, they like pretty much flat out tell you right away that this is after a nuclear holocaust. They just like drop that one right away because you see like a crashed helicopter and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm also I like Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, and my favorite authors are H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard, so I'm really into the Conan series and the Cthulhu series, and they're very cut from the same cloth. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft's more sci-fi horror, and Robert E. Howard's more fantasy horror. But yeah, I don't know, other movies or series?
I think like for me, it's some of my biggest fandoms right now are. I'm gonna say I'm not an over-encompassing anime fan, but the only person that I really like is Shishiro Watanabe, and I love Cowboy Bebop, I love Samurai Champloo, and I love Space Dandy.
Space Dandy.
So those
but
three.
Evangelion's also really good.
It is, but I think those three are like the three of my bigger fandoms. I would say is like Shishiro Watanabe's stuff. I really like him. Not that the other stuff isn't bad. I do like anime too and some other ones, but those are probably my favorite series, anyways.
So yeah, I mean, we can go on about this. Fred. It's been so long already. We have to wrap this up at some point. But yeah, we're just nerds, so we're into all the usual crap.